Hey everyone, welcome back to The Explainer. So today we're tackling something huge in the IT world. Cisco literally just flipped the script on one of the most popular IT certifications on the planet. If you've been studying for the CCNA 2.0, well, the game has officially changed to version 2.0. But hey, don't panic. We've taken the entire official exam topics document, combined it with some serious insider insights, and built you a crystal clear, totally actionable 12-week blueprint to get you certified.
All right, the core message you need to hear right now is simple. The trivia test, it's dead. Imagine just aggressively wiping the whiteboard completely clean of all those old version 1.1 memorization tactics. Gone are the days where you just had to define jargon. This new version 2.0 exam is hyper-focused on day-to-day job skills. It's actually designed to test exactly what a junior network engineer does on their very first day at the help desk.
So here's our roadmap for this explainer. First, we'll hit the 6 big changes. Then we dive into the chronological plan. Weeks 1 through 3 is network infrastructure. Weeks 4 through 6 covers switching and access. Week 7 through 10 is all about routing and security. Week 11 introduces AI network operations. And finally, Week 12 is your final exam practice.
All right, let's jump right into part 1, the 6 big changes.
Okay, so there has been a massive philosophical shift here. Version 1.1 relied heavily on words like describe or compare, basically just rote memorization. But version 2.0? It's all about action verbs. We're talking troubleshoot, diagnose, and interpret. It's based on Bloom's taxonomy, meaning Cisco wants to see active skills. When they say configure, you better believe they mean hands-on keyboard time. And when they say diagnose, you're going to be looking at real output, like interface statuses, and you'll have to critically evaluate the problem, like spotting a mismatched duplex right there on the screen.
So where should you actually be spending your time? Take a look at the balance in the exam weights here. Infrastructure and switching, those are your heavy hitters, coming in at 25% each. Routing and security sit at 20% each. And then we've got this completely new domain, AI operations, making up that final 10%. This breakdown is exactly how we've balanced the hours in the 12-week study plan we're about to walk through.
To pass 2.0, you've got to realize your old study guide is basically obsolete now. You really have to master these 6 core pillars: AI integration, expanded power over Ethernet, and DNS troubleshooting, those crucial action verbs we just talked about, Wireshark packet captures, and hands-on practice in Cisco Modeling Labs, or CML. Mastering all of this is what's going to get you ready for that February 3rd, 2027 deadline when the new exam goes fully live.
But before we get into the week-by-week breakdown, I want to share a super reassuring insight from Cisco expert Hank Preston. He said, "We tried to focus the blueprint and the tasks around what junior network engineers are actually asked to do in their day job. Honestly, that should give you a huge sigh of relief. The exam isn't out to trick you with some crazy CCIE-level OSPF configurations. It's strictly built to make sure you're ready for real-world Tier 1 help desk scenarios."
Moving on to part 2, weeks 1 through 3, network infrastructure.
This is where you really see that shift from passive to active learning. For your first 3 weeks, budgeting about 12 hours a week, don't just memorize what a fiber cable is. You have to actively diagnose issues. If you see late collisions or CRC errors, you need to instantly know that points to a duplex mismatch or a bad cable. You're going to be using CML to actively capture packets and analyze those waveforms in Wireshark. It's all about hunting down the problem.
And hey, prepare for another massive sigh of relief. You can officially cross these topics right off your list. Cisco completely stripped out CCST-level basics, like simply explaining what a router is versus a switch. They also dropped quality of service deep dives because, let's be real, junior engineers aren't shaping and policing traffic on day one. They removed clicking around the wireless LAN controller GUI and gutted heavy automation like Terraform. They basically took out the trivia to make room for actual job-ready skills.
All right, part 3, weeks 4 through 6, switching access.
Your big outcome for these 3 weeks is implementing switching and validating power over Ethernet, or PoE. The focus here is entirely on edge host connectivity. So you aren't just configuring a basic VLAN anymore. You are validating that a specific switch port has the exact right PoE attributes to actually power up things like desktop printers, VoIP phones, and IoT appliances. This is literally an everyday, incredibly practical task in the real world.
Next up, part 4, weeks 7 through 10, routing and security.
The absolutely crucial point in this phase is the depth of those action verbs. Just look at step 1, interpret. You're going to be staring at a live routing table, and you must confidently identify the exact next hop for a packet based on prefix matches, administrative distances, and metrics. And for security, you're no longer just defining what AAA is, you must actually configure secure device access. That means ditching plain text telnet for SSH and using secure copy protocol instead of TFTP.
Now, Cisco has actually taken a running joke in the IT world completely to heart here. Is it DNS? Probably. The new exam actually requires you to actively diagnose common DNS issues. If a web app or a mail server fails, you can't just throw your hands up and pass the ticket. You've got to use tools like NSLookup to evaluate whether it's an A record, a CNAME, or an MX record causing the headache. It is all about practical fault isolation.
Which brings us to Part 5, Week 11, AI Network Operations. So what exactly is agentic AI? Think of it almost like having a smart little AI robot sidekick. It's an artificial intelligence system designed to pursue goals and act independently to evaluate and recommend network fixes. But here's why you really need to care about this. Cisco knows AI is completely taking over the help desk, but they also know AI can, well, hallucinate. As a new CCNA, your job is definitely not to just blindly copy-paste what the AI tells you. You have to use critical thinking to evaluate the AI's output and catch those rogue recommendations before they completely break your network.
Here's how you actually get tested on this stuff. You need to know how to responsibly prompt an AI. Step 1, you've got to classify your data. You absolutely cannot paste restricted company IP addresses into a public generative AI tool. Then, steps 2 and 3 involve determining the output format you need and deliberately selecting the most effective prompt to generate safe, actionable troubleshooting steps. It's really about using AI effectively, but more importantly, responsibly.
And finally, Part 6, Week 12, Final Exam Practice.
Because of all those action verbs we've been talking about, the new CCNA now includes performance-based questions. We're talking mini-labs right inside the exam. You really cannot just memorize a bunch of multiple-choice answers anymore. So for Week 12, you must take practice exams, seriously analyze your weak spots, and get crucial hands-on keyboard time in Cisco Modeling Labs or Packet Tracer. By the time a lab asks you to configure an 802.1q trunk, it should be pure muscle memory.
And that brings us to our final thought for this explainer. With AI integration, hands-on performance labs, and this relentless focus on action verbs over trivia, is the new CCNA just a multiple-choice exam, or is it truly your first real network engineering shift? Honestly, this blueprint proves that earning your CCNA means you are genuinely ready for day one on the job. Congratulations on grasping this roadmap, everyone. Now, it's time to start that 12-week clock, fire up those labs, and go get certified.